To finish off the building component of this module, we're going to construct these brick walls. The first thing we need to do is actually define them with that brick texture on it, and we'll do that next. So we'll go into our Revit document. I'm going to open up architecture. I'm going to select a wall tool. This will be, the first one is wall architectural, and that's what it'll default to if you click on it. And you have a bunch of choices here, but I want to work on the basic generic 12-inch. And we want to give that a new name to make it something custom. So I'm going to I open it up by going to Edit Type and then duplicating it. And I'm going to type in custom brick. Oops. All right, and now before I close that off, we want to add a texture to that. So I'm going to go into Structure, and I'm going to select Edit. And this structure allows us to put a material and wrap the whole thing with it. And that's where we're going to put our brick on. So I'm going to click that, and you'll notice a little tab showed up. I'll close this down because that happened relatively quick. All right, we're going to click on this front little edge here. And that takes us to our material browser and a chance to create a custom texture. So while we're here, the first thing I want to do is go down to the bottom here where the little circle is with the plus. And I want to click it and select Create a New Material. The new material will be highlighted here. And right away I can right click on this and rename it. And I'll just call this the new brick texture. And we'll go to the appearance part of that palette, and we want to put that brick texture here where that image is. So I'm going to just click on that, and it's going to open up something that's going to ask us to find that. And I'm going to stop right here while we go out to find that brick texture. So I'm going to go once again back to our blackboard, where I will have placed a brick texture. If you click on it, it will automatically open that texture. A little plus sign, a magnifying glass with a plus sign is there, and you can see you can zoom in on it. And it's a very detailed texture map of a brick. And if we right click on that, we can save that image. And here's where I want you to save it to somewhere, obviously, that you can remember it. In the case of the way I'm working on this project, I have it in a specific folder. And I need to find that quickly. And I've already saved it there. And so I won't resave it, but that's where you would save it. And you don't have to keep this note. And you could just say, computer viz brick or something like that, whatever you want to call it, it's fine. And I'll just cancel because I've already saved it there. So now that we have that available to us, I'm going to go back to Revit. And I'm going to navigate to where I actually had saved that. So I'm going to go back to my D drive. Sorry about the navigation that I need to do, but this is where I've saved that file. And if I move my big head out of the way, we can open that file. And now it's placed into our texture. So if I click on this texture, I can now edit the scale of it and change a lot of other characteristics, of which we're not going to do right now. But one of them is it says that this is 1 foot for all of those bricks by 1 foot, and that's just way too small. I'm going to change that by going down to the scale and typing in 20 for the sample size. And if I just click off of it, it's automatically going to update the other direction to be 20 also, because this is locked together. It keeps the aspect ratio of that texture. So I can go ahead now and click Done. I can click OK here and OK here. And now I have that custom brick wall with that texture applied to it. And I can start drawing with it. The way I want to work with this is I want to make sure that we have selected the finish face exterior. That's how we're going to align our wall. We want to make sure it goes from level 1, which is this top of this foundation here, up to the top of the parapet, the very, very top of the building. And you'll notice if I've selected right, whenever I roll over a wall that's touching level 1, it'll highlight and indicate that I can draw a wall there. And we're working on an isometric view, a 3D view, because it's actually quite easy to draw now in Revit in that kind of 3D environment, because we get such good hinting about where our lines are going to go. Now, if you're not getting that happening, that highlighting, it could be that you just do not have these levels set up right. And you'll notice how when I roll over it, I'm no longer getting that highlighting if I don't have that level 1 set up. Now I'm connecting to things that are above that. So once again, I'm going to go back and set that to level 1. And we'll draw our first piece of wall. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to drag off, and I'm going to go 4 feet. And it's not showing up good that way, so I'll go in this direction so you see the dimensions better. And I'm scrolling in with my mouse just to give us a little better view. Now, before I click off of it, I can just type in 4 if I want it to be 4. But I want to also make sure that it says 90 degrees there so that I know I'm lined up with the wall. And notice that the blue line is indicating that also on the foundation wall. So if I now hit enter, I get a piece of wall constructed there. Now, because of the nature of the way I drew it, it's flipped on the wrong direction. But that's not a problem. If I highlight it and hit the space bar, it'll rotate that wall in. Now our wall's not showing as brick yet because we haven't rendered it that way. If I go to realistic rendering, you'll notice now we get our brick showing up with that texture on it. We're also getting a little ghosting of some other objects there, and I'm not sure exactly what that's from. It's kind of like a computer memory issue. Let's see if I rotate this a little bit, if it'll disappear. Yeah, there seems to be a little ghost on the screen, kind of unusual. We'll chalk that up to my computer screen. I'll zoom back in here again. And that's almost like a memory card issue. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to hit pause now, and I'm going to reboot my software. So I'll be right back. So I went ahead and rebooted my computer, and that screen ghosting disappeared. So let's go ahead and just experiment with drawing some more wall. Grab that wall tool again. These are already set for us, so we don't need to concern ourselves with that if we're working, after we just finished one wall. So I'm going to click on that bottom now, and I'll pull out 4 feet and click off. And I'll do one on the other side, but that actually I'm going to delete that after a second. So hold on if you want to see another technique. But I'm just going to show you how to draw some more wall here. I'm going to grab that 4 foot, pull it off till it says 4 feet, click it. And then once again, remember, if I just select it and hit the space bar, it'll flip in. But like I said, I'm going to delete this because we know that there's symmetry here, that this edge to, this steel is 20 foot on center, so everything is symmetrical. So this little section of corner will be duplicated here, and then this whole unit will get duplicated over there. So we can use some of the power of our duplicating and modeling commands. So if I hold down and select both of these walls, and I hold down the control key and select both of these walls, I can go up to the mirror and duplicate in a way that allows me to draw an axis. And then if I roll onto this wall and zoom in here, I will find a center point for the outside edge of that wall. Now you'll notice a midpoint, should I say, a center point. You'll notice how there's a blue line around the edge of the wall telling me what I've selected, and I've got that triangle selected. And now if I click and I drag out and I make sure that it's 90 degrees, I'll get a perfect duplication of that wall over on the other side. And I can rotate around here to show you what's happened with that. Now, if that's difficult for you to do, you can experiment with it. It's all part of the learning procedure. I'll do it one more time, and actually I'll just pull it off on a different angle so you can see it from another direction. Let me just delete this. Once again, I'll click on and select, and then hit Control Select and grab those two. Use the mirror command, come back, find that center, and then make sure I drag off 90 degrees and click, and now I've duplicated that wall over. Now, I want to move that set of walls exactly the same way over to the next bay. So I could actually go ahead now and hit and select all of these walls by holding down the control key. I'm going to mouse out or scroll wheel out so I can grab all of those. So I have 4 selected. If you look over on the left, you'll see that 4 walls is selected. And now I can use the copy and move tool. And I can come back and I can come in here and touch this front very edge corner. I'll get an endpoint indication and the wall's highlighted. I can click that and I can drag this over to here, exactly the same place, and click off, and now I have a duplicate set of walls created. Now, if that doesn't work for you very easily or it's troublesome, you can just redraw these walls. Remember that they have to be 4 feet. All right, so the last one I want to do is just take this one and copy it over to this corner here. So I'm going to once again select the first one, holding down the control, select the next one, use the copy and move tool. It's set for multiple. I can turn that off because I only want to make 1 copy. Click it and move it over to here. I'll zoom in to show you that I'm touching that very corner and click it off. And now I have all my 4 columns, or all my 5 columns, should I say, set up for our drawing. And this completes the technical part of our construction. Next thing we're going to look at is putting together that in a presentation sheet for a submittal.